Namaste to everyone. Thanks for tuning into the MVP Unplugged.
And our today's MVP is Guru Pashupathi. Welcome on
Welcome
the
on the show.
Thank you. What's an MPV? MVP?
MVP,
MVP.
most valuable person.
Oh, okay, okay.
So whoever is on the show, we call them our most valuable person.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for doing this, Guruji.
My pleasure.
yeah. So what value would you like to add to our viewers' life?
I don't know, man. I know so much. So if you have good questions, then you'll get a lot of value.
Okay,
It's all up to you.
okay. So we have heard lot of your initial, your childhood, and so we would like to know how your initial spiritual experiences were.
Well, when I was about 8 years old or something, Kali started to come to my bed. And I used to sleep with my parents because we were very poor. We had a really small house. There was no concept of me having another room back then. And and she would be like, "Come with me," and I'm like, What? Where? How can I?" It's like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, right? I don't know because I don't even know. I don't even have a clock or a watch or a phone or nothing. And she said, "Come," and then like after some time, I got fed up because for 1 week I'm like, "No," and I'm thinking it's my imagination, and I was sleeping. And she was come and sit there every day and say, "Come with me." So I'm like, okay. Then finally I went. I said, "What about my parents?" She said, I'll put them to sleep." And she did like this. And they didn't wake up. They never knew. And this went on for 4 years. Nobody even knew. Okay. And it was like when I went, she took me all the way to a Muslim graveyard where Aghoris were there. And then they would say, Batuk, Batuk has come. Batuk Baba has come. And then they'll make me sit there. And then they would offer prayers to Devi, and she would take it and they would go. They had some perception of Devi. They were not seeing her like I was seeing her. But they knew that she was there, that her energy was there. And that was my first spiritual experience. Then suddenly it stopped. After 4 years, 4 years of I don't know what I did, what I learned, what happened there. I have no idea. But I learned a lot of mantras, I learned a lot of rituals, I learned a lot of things hanging out with these aghoris. And I started to develop some kind of siddhis where I could move things. If I wanted to move them, I could move them. And some supernatural stuff like that. Like time was shrinking if I wanted to, expanding if I wanted to. I could slow down the bowler when he's bowling the ball with my friends when I'm playing cricket. I could slow it down, go easily, and hit it. So that kind of ability started to develop. And then my father got very alarmed. And then he said, "You can't waste your spiritual energy on all this. So take it back up. Don't waste it." So he got very alarmed. And then I said, "Okay." And I stopped doing all of that stuff. I didn't do. I made a promise to my dad that I wouldn't do it. So I didn't do it after that. And over time, I realized that it's not necessary at all. You need some of it sometimes, like if you're stuck in a traffic jam or you're going on a long journey and you want to reduce the time. For those kind of things, it's cool. But the amount of work you have to do to get those abilities is so much. Like 4 years in the samshan in the morning. I don't know what happened. I lost all my interest in education after that. From 12th standard, from the age of 12, I couldn't go to school. So I asked my grandmother what to do. She said, I told her the whole story of Kali and everything. She said, "Don't tell anyone now, you just go to school. And if you have any brains, and if really you've been learning with Kali for 4 years, you figure out how to get out of the school with your attendance. Otherwise, your parents are going to get stressed, and I have to listen to that." That's what she said. I said, "What is this?" Then I went. I went to school. I figured it out. Like, what are the escape routes? Like how you plan a prison break. That's when I discovered the similarity of a prison to school. It is just so hard to break out of there in my school. And it's one convent with the big walls that I can't even climb. So I'm like, what is this? How to get out of here? I have to get out through the gate. Like, what should I do to get out? I'm asking good questions. What should I do to get out of the gate? Make friends with the gatekeeper. So I made friends with him. I found out he had a tobacco habit, so I started buying him tobacco for chewing. So he kept chewing and spitting, and he's very happy with me because whenever he sees me, he knows his head will spin. So after some time, when he sees me only, his head was spinning with the tobacco. So he just loves me. So then I said, "You will let me out, right?" Yeah, okay. And that guy was useful for me for many other things also, which I cannot speak about. But then there was another obstacle, so I took care of all the obstacles, and I was out, man. The third day after my granny told me, I said, "Look, I'm back home," and she's like, "What happened?" I said, "I figured it out, how to get attendance and also get out." So what are you going to do? I said, "I want to just sit in the park for some time." So I went and sat in Cubbon Park in Bangalore for a long time. Just I used to change the school uniform, of course. So you had those phone booths back then. You could change clothes in it. So I'd go lock the phone booth, change out of my school full like Superman, man.
You used
Change.
to do all this at 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when I mean, long story short, that was the beginning of my spiritual journey. But at the age of 12, another thing happened. I had a lot of stammering. So I was being bashed up by other boys because when they teased me, I hit them. So then they ganged up against me, and all my karate, nothing is working because karate works against one guy. But here you have 10 guys beating you. So just the panic itself, you don't know what to do, right? So I stopped going from my front gate because these boys used to play cricket outside my house front gate. Used to go to the neighbor's house in the back road, climb over the wall somehow and jump in. Climbing the wall, I became very strong, but still I couldn't beat them. So then I was like thinking, like, what man, enough of being scared. If I die, I'll die. I'll go and fight them. So I got out and just came out only hitting. I took a brick and started hitting them like three, four guys. Brick became powder. Then three, four guys passed out. The others caught me. Then they hit me really bad. They broke my hand or something. They didn't break my hand, but they hit me with the cricket bat here with the sharp part, frak, frak here. So I couldn't even lift my hands. I was in that state. And then I got one on my face. After that, my senses were going like this. He caught my hair and pushed my face in a cow dung, all cuts everywhere, and cow dung on my face. And then he threw me in the gutter. And then they started taking the guys bowling the ball. This guy's hitting it on me with the bat, like fut, fut, fut. That was going on. This time I'm asking Shiva, like, you didn't let me use any powers. And I forgot about it. Now I don't know how to do it. And I can't do anything in this situation. If you really exist, Shiva, send me a teacher. Otherwise, I'm fed up. I just want to die, is what I said. Immediately, one guy came. Just turned the road, and one guy came. And it was like too dramatic. Like he's shining, okay? And his head is also shining, and everybody's moving out. All these boys are moving out. They stopped hitting the ball on me. Then he told them to go like this. And they all went off. Then he pulled me out from there. And then he lifted me. He touched my arm. I felt some heat. And then when he put me down, my hands are okay.
Did he look like a normal human being, like a normal guy?
Yeah, he was about 5'6", like my height, and like a very very big forehead and like really broad shoulders and really strong guy, and something shining about his eyes, forehead. You can't tell. It seems like he had a third eye. So like some brightness over here, right? And then he told me, "I'll teach you to fight." And I said, "You come to my place in the morning." I'm like, "How did you know I want to learn to fight?" And he's like, "If you want to learn, you come." I said, "Okay." And I went. Then second mystery happened. When I went there in the morning next day, he's drunk and he's sleeping and he can't get up. And so I'm knocking the door and everything is making a lot of noise. The owner of the house comes and says, "My watchman is sleeping, come back later." I'm like, "Who's
Sorry, Guruji.
No problem, but it happens because when I share my spiritual experiences, if it's not to be recorded, it cannot be recorded. That's the fact. Okay. So a lot of things happened, man, and I came back from the mountains later. When he came, he took me to the mountains. And I came back from the mountains, and then I had promised him that I will teach yoga. I didn't know where to start. So I went back into my alcoholic habit again because I didn't know where to start. I had just no clue what to do. And I had this body which was like an immortal body. So I'm like, I can drink. I was not even sleeping. So I was drinking and just staying up all night. Oh, and I didn't know what to do. So basically, I was doing nothing. And I was not even in a bad mood. I was happy to be here. For money, I was making paintings. And I was getting a lot of money because I had very good patrons. So I was like, all I have to do in the morning is paint. I don't have to sleep, so I can paint at night. So I started painting at night and I started walking on the streets of Mysore, made friends with the cops, the beat cops, everybody. All the people who are awake at night in Mysore are my friends in that area. So then it was very, 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 very difficult, more difficult than going and learning with Babaji to teach yoga because that took some 13 years or something. And for me to even create a program and understand what people need, because people have no idea what they want. They have no idea what they need. And I'm like, interesting problem. So, right from telling people how to get purpose, I've had to train them in everything because I can't do yoga because I'm not healthy, Guruji. Okay, I'll train them on health. I can't do yoga because I'm poor, Guruji. I'll train him how to make money. Like, I can't do yoga because I am in a bad relationship. Okay, I'll fix your relationship. So, I just kept on fixing people's stuff till they don't have any excuse not to learn yoga now. I put so many teachings out, nobody has any excuse not to learn yoga. Okay, so now I'm like, this is not my moral failing, it's your moral failing. I put everything out for free. And now I have a program where it's just 30,000 rupees, but it's for 3 months. It is so intense that you will become a different person. Like everyone who comes out of there, their family can't recognize them. They're like, what happened to you in 3 months? How you became so kind? How you became so loving? How you're making so much money? How are you so beautiful? What happened? People are meeting them after 3 months, the reactions to seeing my students. So that's the kind of results that I wanted to give. So finally, I can say I'm actually doing what my guru asked me to do after like 13 years.
Like you got like a 64 days yoga challenge out there. Like what can like anyone who takes up that challenge learn?
How to have your proper self-image. That's what you can learn. Okay, you'll be working physically to turn into that self-image as well, and you'll be working mentally also to behave and think like that self-image. So you have to have an ideal self-image, like how magnificent can I be? You should be able to draw it, divine, and behave in that way. Okay, so that's the quest. That's the challenge. Can you behave as your we call this yoga murti. Can you behave as your yoga murti? Is the challenge. So it hits everything in your life. It just makes you a better person. That's what I want. I call that spirituality. Not all these powers I had to float things and jump over things. What's the use of that? Okay, listen. The thing I understood, and that what most people don't understand today, is that we have been educated in a system of education that teaches us that the best thing that you can do is to leave all your classmates behind and come first. And you're encouraged to do that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make something, I wanted all of them to do good. I didn't want to do good alone. This is discouraged. Even in an office environment, you're sitting with 1,000 people and you don't know any of them. Every day you are all going to the same office and coming out, you don't even talk. You live in an apartment with 2,000 people, you don't know one of them. Just hello, hello, that's it. You haven't started anything with them, you haven't created anything. People have lost the ability to create because they're discouraged to talk with each other. So now creation is like done by people who survive this education, like me. So people don't know how to create. So one of my goals is to make creators, creator yogis, create whatever you want in the world. That this is spiritual for me, man. Not saying my kundalini is rising, Guruji. I'm having all these experiences. I saw this big flower. It was trying to eat me. Then one crocodile came and bit my ass. No, I don't need these stories. What
Yeah.
I'll do with this? How is this valuable even to a mosquito? You tell me. Be of
True.
value, no?
But this is not how it used to be before. Like
This is not how
everyone,
nature
yeah.
is. Look at nature. Everything is collaborating with each other. Just look around you. The butterfly is feeding off this plant. This plant grew. Then that something will be feeding off that butterfly. It's all interconnected. You're actually looking at one thing. And when we look at human beings, we should see one thing. But you know what we see? Competition. That's all we can see. We don't know collaboration. So, and that is spiritual. My Guru said, listen, you can't get enlightened alone. You have to bring a tribe with you. That's when you're going to get something called moksha. Because for you to be immortal, it cannot be done by you alone. And Babaji is not alone. So, this system of education is called Thames Nadi education because it came from there, from Thames, London. Okay? So, it's like how to regiment people and make them obedient forever. This is what it is. Not win them over with their consent by making them an offer they can't refuse, not like that. That's not how they want. They want to offer you shit and then make you listen. So this is a system of education designed just like the prison system, okay? And when you understand that and you look at nature and then you understand what yoga is because there's no yoga without nature. All the rishis and munis and everyone used to live in nature, not anywhere else. The whole religion of Hinduism has come from nature. But now that's not how the so-called rishis of today live. No. Like there's a set of people and they are the seers, the rishis. They are the ones always in humanity who set the course for humanity. And such people should not become corrupt because if they do, then adharma will start in the world. And they have become corrupt. So now adharma is going on. Okay? So it's our job to wake up and understand that our collective dreaming makes the world beautiful, not one person's dream. One person's dream doesn't make the world beautiful. If 10 people dream the same dream, it'll work 10 times faster, 100 times faster, who knows? I have a small team. It's just like 12 people right now. But everybody is starting to look like a god or a goddess. You can see. You came to the Akhada. Everybody is starting to look like, wow, there's some energy about them. That's the free human being. The one that one that is not a slave. Very rare in this world.
Guruji, talking about Mahavatar Babaji.
Hmm.
So I first, saw him through a movie,
Hmm.
Rajnikant's movie, Baba.
Baba.
Yes. So it was back then I was very young. I was very curious to know, like, does this really exist? Like, he goes to somewhere and he meets him, that shiny face, like you told.
Hmm.
And then, after I grew up, and then I started reading autobiography of a yogi.
Hmm.
And then when recently I went to Rameshwaram, there was this small room
Hmm.
where there was a statue of God, Lord Nataraja.
Hmm.
And behind that, people were sitting and meditating.
Hmm.
When I turned back, there was a photo of Mahavatar Babaji. So I wanted to know, like, that place felt so peaceful. Like, after I entered it, before even seeing his
Hmm.
photo.
Hmm.
So I just want to know what is his grace? Like, how is it so powerful?
Babaji's story is that he learned from Lopamudra, the Hadi Vidya. And when he learned that, he became the emperor of 18 planets, Ashtadasha Mahadvipa Samrat, when he received the Hadi Vidya. The Hadi Vidya is the worship of Devi, and it's the knowledge that Devi gives you by sitting in you. So, Devi has blessed him, and he is also an avatar of Murugan, Subramanya, Shiva's son. He's an avatar of that. So when he came here, it was his whole life was like a war. His whole childhood was like a war. He got sold as soon as he was born, and a lot of things happened. And after some time, he met Agastya and Lopamudra, and they were his teachers. And he now has a huge tribe of siddhas. At least 100 siddhas live with him over there, and they're all like working. These people are like very, very powerful people who have dealings in 18 planets, okay? So even outside our solar system, he has dealings with them. Something and all goes on. I don't know. It's all goes over my head, okay? I went there to learn, and I was learning whatever he asked me to learn. And I was absorbing the mission that he had for me. For me to even understand that, accept it, I had to really fight Thames Nadi. For me, I had to throw away everything, you know. And on top of that, I had this curse. Not curse. I mean, today I call it a gift, but that back then I used to call it a curse. That whoever I judge, I'll become that. Great way to make someone humble, you know. So I stopped judging people, man. I came back and then I started to judge Muslims. I became a Muslim, and I'm like, oh shit, what happened here? Then after some time, Babaji removed me out of that karma, and I was thinking I've also judged Christians. He made me a Christian. Before I know it, and these events just happen. You don't can't even explain. Like, how do you suddenly become a Muslim or a Christian? It just happens. It's like too weird to even talk about. So all this happened, and I'm like, my God, what's happening with my life? I should stop judging everyone. He'll make me do everything. Everyone that I've judged is going to make me. It's okay. It's going to take a long time because I've judged a lot of people. Okay, so it really took a long time. Even after I came back from the mountains, 13 years to teach, to be able to teach. And today I'm very delighted to be able to teach.
But why do you think Babaji chose you to be this person?
Why
And
do you think Google is such a warrior?
like he wanted you to go through all of this
Dude,
and
you have no idea
teach
about my
yoga.
warriorhood, right? Like, I started a business when I was 12. Who you know who did that? I'm making more money than my parents at that time only. Okay, so I have come with a past life karma and I cannot talk about it. I'm connected to Mahathir Babaji from my previous birth as well. I'm not meeting him suddenly. Okay, so people are like asking me this question like, Mahathir Babaji tours? How can we meet Babaji? I'm not running Mahathir Babaji tours here. I'm doing some other work. Okay, so don't disturb me if you want to meet Babaji. But really, don't you want to meet you first? Don't you want to know who you are? Like, before that, meet Babaji. Your own self image varies according to the person you're with. What is this? So your body is getting different for a different reality, playing different characters. In one, some you're a coward, in some you're a loser, and some you're something else. What is the self image? What are these roles we're playing? Can't we think of a good role for our life and care about our life? And that's why you should do my 64-day challenge. I'm challenging you to find a self image and live up to it. It's a challenge. Yeah, for everyone. Yeah, this is what everyone needs. So when you have proper self image, then you will start to create people around you who have proper self image. Because otherwise it'll be too frustrating for you that everyone keeps changing. And then you will make sure that you teach them how they can all hold up a standard and be proper effective human beings, you know, instead of just falling into Bollywood drama after over and over and over and over and over Bollywood drama. Everyone thinks they're in a bloody movie. That's the problem. But this is your life, it gets over. You lose this youth. I'm not losing my youth. I'm 50 years old.
We were
You,
shocked to, hear
yeah,
it. Yeah.
and you look a lot fitter in real than the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because of our lifestyle, no? It's a real lifestyle, man. It's a yogi lifestyle, right? So this can't be bought. You really need to learn and really understand. If you want to have meaning in life, you have to be immortal. Otherwise, everything you say is gas if you're going to die. You cannot put that kind of effort as if you're not going to die when you think you're going to die. You just can't, which is why people are broken. They don't put their effort as if they are going to live forever. Gandhiji said, put effort as if you're going to live forever. And he said, I don't remember, but something else he said in that quote, but I remember this, right? But who can do that? Because the back of the mind saying, yeah, I'm gonna die. You know how hypnotized people are? The science today is so advanced, it tells us that we can repair ourselves faster than we're damaged. And it is possible. There are certain things you need to do. There's a great author called Chad Davis who wrote a book called The Primed Life. I contacted him by email and he said he'll collaborate with me and make something for Indians to really explain the principles of life
Okay.
scientifically. So it'll be the first time a scientist and a yogi, he's not a scientist, but he's really studied a lot of quantum biology. And we're going to have the first time that a yogi and a quantum biologist are going to make a course together. So you are going to get both views, the view of the yoga and the prana and the jiva and all of that stuff, along with how it's supported by nature and the science of it. It's going to blow people's mind. And that's what we want in India. Like I said, look, I want all my countrymen to be healthy because they just lost their health now. And Chad said, listen, you're popular, you can do it, and I'm just happy to help. So great guy, man. So I said, let's do it. So we're doing this kind of stuff, man. Why am I putting so much meaning? Like, why should I do this? Tell me. What is the meaning? What is the meaning for me if this happens? It's called mudita. Happiness when other people get benefited.
But
Just that.
isn't the human nature like that? You when you help someone, you feel happy, and then when
Yeah,
you're
it
trying,
is. What do
yeah,
they tell you in school? Get more marks than your friend.
yeah.
What is this shit? We get so happy when we help others. Okay, so that gives you infinite meaning. Go on helping others. And you know that, man, I'm part of this damn ecosystem. If I breathe in here, that leaf will feel it. And that leaf shakes, I feel it. You cannot have this open love when you're afraid that somebody else will take your place. And then you just become like, the dogs fighting for territory. We're better than that, man. We're human beings. We can all win if we all work together.
You were also talking about your lifestyle. So how does a day in the life of Guru Pashupati look like?
I'm up at 3:30 in the morning
Okay.
and I start my sadhana. Straight away, no delays. I have a bathtub filled with cold water, ice water. I
Oh.
jump into it and I sit there for like 10
Hmm.
minutes and then I come out. So
Okay.
that itself makes me like create so much heat in your body that you don't even need to warm up. You can,
Cold shower, like a nice tub. It's all getting like it's all trending now. Everyone's trying to
it's
do
not
it,
trending. This is what we used to do in the mountains.
but nobody
When we were wearing dhotis only and living in the mountains, have you seen some sadhus? We were all
Yes.
like that, wearing only
Okay.
dhotis, like not even footwear.
I watched a reel on Instagram,
Body
like
becomes so hot
yeah.
that the snow around you keeps melting.
Hmm.
And you're not cold at all. Yeah, you saw on Instagram some
Yeah,
people
I
doing this?
saw a
Yeah.
reel like
Yeah. So how do those yogis do it, man? Like even this guy did, no, I forgot his name, the Kalantak Pete Swami.
hmm.
He was also sitting in the snow.
Okay.
Yeah, just like nothing is wearing, just one shawl or something. That's just
Yeah.
sitting like that.
And they are so happy. They're like the Guruji, they're dancing and all. They're so happy over there.
Yeah, so this is something that will also release happy hormones. Okay, well, the moment you get into the cold shower and you get out, you're like, but it's not good for women, except during their ovulation phase and a little bit of the luteal phase, a little bit of, you know, the other side of the period. There, it's okay to do the cold thing. But when you come to this side of the period, doing cold things is not good for your period. So women have to be careful about that. But for men, you can just go and dump yourself in the cold water anytime. And what's next is a lot of practice. Uh, it's basically Kundalini practices where we empower ourselves with Devi's energy and then draw on some really strong powers because I got to ground the energies of so many people. I have now 700 students and I've got all of the people watching our content and I need to keep a pulse on all of that. So I'm really aware of lakhs of people at any given time. It takes a lot of energy just to be aware of it, you know. Just to be aware of family itself is difficult. People forget and they stop showing consideration to their family. But I have to show consideration for lakhs of people, which is what I do. I want to I want to keep putting out content that helps people until the day is not required. It's not required, I'll stop that, then I'll teach only yoga. I am teaching some channels pure yoga, Devi Bhagavatam, Yoga Sutra, and there is Mahishasur Mardini Stotra that I'm doing. This is not pure knowledge, pure yogic knowledge. You can just take it, apply it from the day one, you'll start seeing results. Like weapons of Devi. Mahishasur Mardini Stotra has weapons, at least some 100 weapons you'll get inside it.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. It's just mantras you can say to create certain states of body, or it's certain actions you can do to create certain states of body. You saw how I did the puja today, right? Yeah, so this is what I learned from Mahathir Babaji. Because once you do the puja, you you've got that so much energy, and without that blast. So finally, after all my practice, then I do the puja. We did the puja late today because you were coming, but usually the puja itself is done by 7.
It was really intense. I think it was my first time that I've seen something that like I've experienced that much energy.
Yeah,
It was a whole different vibe for me.
yeah. It is, it is. Bhairav Baba's blessings, you know. Some good things happen after people come for one of these pujas, and those who come regularly, like my martial arts students who are also my uh, tribe here. We have a culture, right? We practice martial arts. So some days we got martial arts, some days we got shoots, and I'm I'm planning now to work only like 15 days, and remaining 15 days just push off somewhere. Yeah, I need that break, otherwise I can't handle it. You know,
But you telling like humans need to change a lot. What are some basic things like they need to change in their day-to-day life?
they need to understand that they need a frame. Who am I? With whom am I? What are we doing together? And where are we? These basic 4 questions, if you honestly answer, you'll understand why you're in shit. Because you're sitting in the wrong environment with the wrong person and doing the wrong thing. That's why everyone's problems are happening. Like every problem, every single problem is because you're doing either in the wrong environment, or you're with the wrong person, or you're doing the wrong thing. Fix it, fix it, fix it. Your life becomes okay. That's it. That's all they need to learn. Then they'll ask me things like, oh, I really want to learn yoga and I really want to see how I can get everybody spiritually elevated around me and create a tribe of people who are immortal. When they get into that mood, I can teach them yoga. I think I'm not teaching yoga to you. Why you should learn? I'm putting out some stuff like secrets, Bhagavad Gita secrets. Who knows? Who knows? They don't know. They don't know nothing. Okay, so that's why it's not the fault of us. It's the theme's not the education, but it's our fault that we invested so much in it despite it not giving any results. So people have invested that plus Bollywood. These stories that have been written in Bollywood are extremely disempowering. When people hear my story, they're like, "Whoa, that's bigger than a movie." I'm like, "If you made it in a movie, it'll be like a super hit." But that's my life. And why is it my life? Why is that my life? Because I made choices, man. At some point, you have enough of being disempowered. That's when you become a yogi. That's the day you become a yogi.
But also the environment around there, like in the cities and everything, like there's lack of knowledge, and also like obviously as you told, because of the education matters a lot. That is true. But also the environment over there, there's nothing else to do. Like you go out with friends, you have to be there to be, so you need to socialize with them, otherwise you'll feel lonely. And
Why?
then
Why all these you should? Don't do it. If it's bullshit, don't do it. These friends, you check the quality of your friends, man. You call
yeah.
them and say, I need 1 lakh rupees, bro. Can you lend it to me?
Mm-hmm.
Please ask everyone. You'll see the quality of your friends. Okay? Check it out. Why are you hanging out with people who will not lend you even 1 lakh?
Yeah,
Tell me.
true.
Tell me.
People these days are so afraid of problems that they just want to, run away or, find
Hmm.
a problem after a problem. So
Hmm.
their so-called solution.
Hmm.
But you think like practicing yoga or,
You know
meditate.
what I was talking about? You know how we don't
Yes.
know where we are?
Yeah.
You say people these days,
Yeah.
you have no idea where we are.
Yeah.
It's when you say people educated in Thames Nadi, then you have a good idea where you are. You
Yes.
understand?
Yeah.
So the educated people are the ones having the problems.
Mm.
I know a lot of people living in the village in Himachal who have never bothered to get educated. They're like super happy. They live as a tribe. They care for each other. Those guys are more spiritual than you because they, when the time comes for the devtas to come down, they all come down to Kulu, in the Kulu Valley, like hundreds of devtas come down for the Shara. October 2nd is going to happen. Then you see how spiritual they are. And then you talk to any of them, they'll tell you like ordinarily, हाँ काली माँ ने ये किया वो किया वो किया. They're literally living with the gods. It's called Devbhumi. So there are people who have created lands where they're perfectly in spiritual harmony and they don't have any problems. So let's understand why this has happened. Okay, so this is what I mean. Like, where are we? We're in Kali Yuga, man.
Yes.
Okay, now considering we're in Kali Yuga, now you ask me.
How worse could Kalyug get? There are movies made on it now. There are facts said on it now.
Yeah, yeah.
There are, so-called many books have stated so many things that could happen. But what do you think is the worst that is coming?
I think Kali invented Thames Nadi. I think Kali is the
Okay.
dean of Thames Nadi.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoever invented the system, he must be an immortal.
Hmm.
He's just here to play mischief. And he's done it in such an intricate way. It's his work of art. His crime is his work of art. You understand? So he's a super villain. Yeah. So we as yogis are protected from Kali. He can't touch us. We are off bounds for him.
Hmm.
He can't touch us. So become a yogi if you don't want it to affect you. Because what will happen in Kali Yuga is people lose their identity. They don't know
Okay.
who the hell they are.
Hmm.
And that causes so much chaos and destruction and ignorance and carelessness, apathy. All these things get caused when uh, Kali comes into your life. So Kali's been given places to live, alcohol dens. Is there everywhere, no?
Yeah.
Kali is dancing in her. Kali's energy is dancing in this Kali Yuga everywhere. No? So there's a few things like everyone has a job. Kali can come where you have a job, where there's enslavement. He can come.
Yeah.
Where there's alcohol, you mean?
Alcohol, prostitution,
Okay.
adultery.
Hmm.
He can come to all these places.
Okay.
So everybody's doing it. Alcohol, though, everybody has in their house.
Yeah.
Gold. Now, who doesn't have gold? Like even the poor people have gold.
Yeah.
So Kali is sitting everywhere.
It is on us how we are,
No, you have to learn and read the Puranas. It's the protection against Kali.
Okay.
Don't read your Thames Nadi textbooks. I mean, read it for the science and the maths and the whatever useful stuff that only they can do, but realize the
Yeah.
quality of the spirituality is in the gutter. They're already teaching you to do wrong things
Hmm.
just by creating these prisons called schools and college. I was coming here and when there's a college advertising the inside of the rooms, just like a jail.
Yeah.
No windows, no nothing. What is this? Have you seen classrooms? They don't want students to get distracted, so no windows,
Yeah.
no sunlight,
True.
only artificial light. Drown them in artificial light and make them sad and confuse their body, give them childhood diabetes. They should be sued for all this.
Yeah.
I
The
think
time will come when the science is real clear that all colleges and schools will be sued for spoiling the mental health and physical health of children.
having these thoughts are really revolutionary because if it wasn't you, I think people wouldn't talk about all this. They believe a lot in school,
We
colleges, or
all are
whatever it
product of
is.
that institution, man. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
not talk against it. That's all they have. They don't have anything more than that. I'm a student of Mathar Babaji,
Hmm.
the Samrat of 18 planets.
Yeah.
No? They'll say in my themes study they didn't teach me about that. You're lying. Because somebody can start that shit, right? There's something called Kupamanduka, the well frog. So his brother comes, the well frog's brother comes and says, hey, come on, man. He's gone to the ocean and come back. It's like, I'll take you to a place. There's so much water. It's so good. A lot of hot female frogs. and a lot of food to eat. And oh my God, it was amazing. So much light and so much wind. I'm going to take you there. He said, are you saying there's a better place than my kupa, my well? And he's like, yeah, of course. Like, don't talk to me again. Go away. Kupa Manduka cannot be taught.
Mm.
So everyone is not my student. Those who want to be extraordinary are my students. They are.
Yeah. But there's lack of knowledge. Not everyone knows about this thing, but they only know the other side, like
They don't even
everyone's
know about
purpose.
that butterfly that's drinking nectar upside down behind you. They don't know about that also. They've not
Yeah.
seen. They're not living in a conscious world. If you really paid attention, you would notice the miracles in your life.
Hmm.
You know that this is an illusion. It is glitches are there in the fabric of space and time.
Hmm.
What you never noticed about? Suddenly somebody will be sitting and then the geyser switch will be on and they're like, how it got on? Everybody's worried. This happens in everyone's life, okay? So some shit like that will be happening, miracles will be happening, and you're like, Thames, Nadi, forget routine activated. Wash, wash, wash. It's like MIB, no? They'll flash you after you see that thing. And that's what it is. Thames Nadi is that gun. Forget you saw the miracle. Forget you saw the miracle. That's it.
What's the equipment that you're holding, Guruji? What is that called?
It's a
Like you
ditch.
are doing something.
Didgeridoo, but this is
Yeah.
a ceremonial ditch. So
Okay.
it's not a, it's used by shamans
Okay.
in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. The other ditch which they use, I mean, every ditch is a ceremonial ditch, but
Mm-hmm.
now musicians are also using it without ceremony.
Okay.
But a ditch has to be used with a lot of
Mm.
ceremony, and it produces these ancient noises. You hear that?
Yeah.
Where do you think you got transported with that sound?
It is very fascinating that, out of a sound, out of a wood, a sound can come like
The
that.
whole creation came from sound. Nada Brahma. Everything comes from sound. If you know how to control your sound, you can control the world. There is no yogi with a bad voice. Doesn't exist. Because we practice a lot on our sound. Nada yoga. That's the secret. Nada yoga is the secret of manifestation. Everything starts from sound. Sound is space. The tanmatra of sound affects the bhuta of space. Space time. So you can bend space time if you use right sounds. Yeah. Why don't the Thames Nadi tell you this? They found it out. This is all there. The research is there.
So that is why, mantra chanting is so powerful in our culture.
Yes. I mean, everyone thinks our ancestors were tripping on something.
Hmm.
But they weren't tripping on anything, man. They were
Yeah.
just more sensitive human beings. We've been shamed so long for this.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old, so you can think how the education was there. We
Hmm.
were just shamed about anything Indian. They wouldn't allow me to wear one tilak and go, but I used to wear and go.
Okay.
And I say, if you want to take it off my forehead, you take it off. Let's see. You know, nobody touched me because I don't know. It's a convent, but they don't want. They want you to become Christian. I'm like, why can't you have a sense of tolerance?
Okay.
So that's really what I want, right? I want people to tolerate each other, man. I'm not Hindu fanatic or something.
Hmm.
I just want everybody to fucking get along. Is it so hard? Start getting along with the people in your house first. Then we'll talk about communities.
Yeah.
No, they can't even get along with someone in the house. What you'll get along with communities? It's easy to rouse hate in you because people are just so vulnerable and gullible. They
Hmm.
listen to anything and they buy anything.
Yeah.
So they live in the cages. You're given daily bribes to live in your cages, not a sense of superiority for living in a cage. Is the lock and glue by which you're sitting in a cage. Get that ego out.
Hmm.
Then you'll realize nothing is happening in your kupa. Life is happening outside.
Yeah.
Get out of your cycles and circles, and people only plan what they can access within their circles. They can't plan anything outside of that. Do you know how imprisoned everyone is? They can't move,
Hmm.
Can we take a small break?